G'day everyone, it's Seano here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the round 11 live chat Thursday night stream. The footy has just finished. A little bit of a disappointing end to the footy there. It looked like it was going to be a little bit closer than what it was. But yes, that was the game. And now we're here to talk about it and everything Supercoach. But before we get on with it, don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't done that already, or you're watching this in the future, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. If you haven't liked it, like the video, and yeah, leave me a comment down below if you're watching in the future. And don't forget, still time, join the Discord and we'll feature your team in today's stream. We'll pop it up the stream and have a chat about it. And so yeah, let's get on with it and see who's out there in Supercoach world. We've got Corey, the ladies man. You hate Rochelle McAndrew giving away free kicks. Can't believe you went to him over the likes of Pickett, Bailey, McHenry and the time. Well, at least you didn't go rank. I was super keen on rank a couple of weeks ago, and I was kicking myself that I didn't go rank and in. Only at the beginning, at half time, I was kicking myself. I was like, I should have gone rank. I went Finn Callahan. Don't listen to my own advice. And then he's gone and done what looks like the calf. So maybe the bad picking has once got me out of trouble. Instead of getting me into trouble, it might have gotten me out of trouble a little bit. Before we go too much further, love Wayne Malera. Yeah, great trade in last week for Lindsay. If you did that, Corey, that's brilliant. I talked him up at the beginning of the season, if you remember, and then I got a bit chicken. And then he's another one where I thought with him, I thought I missed the we had those first couple of down games, and a few people traded him out. Poor Abs Magic, who traded him out, and ever since then he's been kind of good. So would have been a good beginning pick in the end, but well, that's hindsight. We don't know everything, do we? Hey Karen, how are you? It's freezing down here at the South Pole. Your toasty wood heater is going in 3 trades this week. Can't decide. I'm over here in Perth. I can't decide whether I'm hot or cold. I want to take my jumper off and I want to put my jumper back on. It's not too bad. We haven't really cracked into winter, if Perth ever really gets a proper winter. So 3 trades in this week. Dale, Roby and Dirksen. Out is the Eustace Clark, Rosa and Blamiers. Well, Karen, you're fed up with Clark. You're a bit like me. So these are my trades here. And now I'm going to explain to you guys and girls out there why I'm doing these trades. They're definitely not recommended. I certainly wouldn't recommend anybody else doing trades like this. But I've got Will Dirksen coming in, or Wade Dirksen coming in, Grundy coming in, Houston going out. Yes, I'm sidewaysing a premium, and Tanner Bruin going out. Now, this is not advisable. We shouldn't be sidewaysing our premiums, but I'm doing it for a couple of reasons. One is that last week just showed me, like, I lost my league match last week, basically because they had Grundy, and it was a difference of, ranking. My ranking's already gone. My season ranking is disgusting, and it won't be coming back. And so I'm concentrating on winning my leagues, but I'm not beating anybody that has Grundy over the next few weeks. And if I went through and had a look at my opponents, and a few of them do have Grundy. And so I was like, listen, if I don't get Grundy, I'm going to lose, and I'm going to drop out of my top 8, and it's going to be a hard watch for the rest of the season. So doing it this way only leaves myself 15 trades, which is probably not enough to complete my team. And I'm going to struggle at the end when it gets to finals time. But at least I might make the top 8 of my league, and I'll have a chance of winning my league. So I figure without Grundy in, I got no chance. And the other thing is, last week in the Collingwood back line, if we look at the kick-ins, Jeremy Howe took them all, Dan Houston took 1, and Josh Dacos took none. And I've got both Dacos and Houston. So at least Dacos, I think, potentially can run up the field a little bit. Maybe he gets a bit of midfield time sometime. I know they left Angry Anderson out this week. Does that mean Josh Dacos actually moves up the field a bit? So Howe got all the kick-ins, and not just that, Darcy Moore is back as well. So I'm figuring that those 2 duds are just going to keep on being duds. So I figure, and they've all got the same buy. And what I did, so I went through the buys on, this is something that you guys might not recognize. It's a bit of paper, a bit of paper and a pen. And I wrote down how many primos have all my opponents got on buys and whether they've got Grundy or not. And the only buy that I was in big trouble with was that round 14 buy, because I had Dacos, Clark, I had Houston, I've got the other Dacos, who else? There's quite a few, and I've got more. I had like 6. Clark, I got Jackson, I got Sam Walsh. So, a lot of people out on that buy. So that was one which I was going to struggle to win. And the guy who I'm playing, he doesn't have Grundy. So I've got a good chance of beating him if he doesn't get Grundy in next week. And also this coming week, the guy who I play in round 12, the first buy, also doesn't have Grundy at the moment. So those two I've got could be a leg up if they don't get Grundy in. And then all the others, though, round 13, 15, and 16, they all have Grundy. So that's why I got Grundy. That's why I'm kicking Houston out. Yep, not high, not super advisable. It gives me 191k in the bank, though. So next week I could potentially go up from like a Selwood to, maybe a Wilkie, even though I heard someone put out a tweet or a message saying that he's kind of playing injured, even though he did well last week. He's got a couple of vertebrae out or something, and so that worries me a little bit. It also worries me that Dirksen is in probably for Wiedering, and if Wiedering comes back, maybe Dirksen comes back, goes out, but considering he's been playing both defense and forward in the VFL and doing well at both, maybe that means he gets to stay in the team if the new coach likes him. Maybe even if they don't like him in defense, Wiedering takes that spot. Maybe they keep him in to go up forward. So at 99k, I just needed to get him. So it'll give me 191k anyway, which next week I can put on top of Selwood. I can put on top of Murdoch. If I go down to one of these rookies, there should be some rookies available next week, like the Carlton rookie dude, Icon, and a few others. So yes, I'm not really going forward. I'm playing probably more rookies on the field than I want, but just that one vice captain score of Grundy, especially these 2 weeks. Like, I could have waited till next week, but the matchup this week against Geelong is so good. Playing against, they didn't even bring in Reece Stanley or anyone. They're still playing Edwards, so could be another 150 score, and it could be the difference between me winning or not winning this week. I did look, and my opponent does not have Grundy this week, so that's why I'm doing it. I think last week showed us that the one Grundy score can score more than basically pretty much close to 3 of my primos, like Bont, Callahan, and Walsh, almost didn't score as much as what Grundy did. And, the next closest person to him was, almost 60 so points away for a captain score. So, yes, I don't advise buying in a 680k player, but I'm going to do it just because it helps my situation. But if you're at the pointy end of the game, I mean, maybe it still is a viable option. If he's scoring more than 2 or 3 primos, maybe it's just better to have him than to have them. I've been going against it, telling people not to do it, but I'm just going to do it myself. My ranking's so bad. What difference does it make if I'm 70,000 or 100,000? I don't want my games like over, but as soon as Grundy has his match, I don't want my league matches that finish. So that's why I'm doing it. Do it at your own risk. I can understand if you are doing it, but it could also be a complete disaster. It hasn't worked this year. Every time we brought in a 680k player, it's turned into a disaster. So I apologize in advance if it turns into a disaster. It was definitely my fault. All right, let's see who else is out there. Corey, Grundy killed your matchup too. Yeah, so I'm just not doing it anymore. I'm not losing again because my opponent has Grundy and I don't. I prefer to get rid of one of these fake primos. Like, I prefer to play. I seriously think Dirksen can score me as much as Houston this week. I think if Dirksen gets a few intercept marks, I'm not too sure who I should play out of Marshall and Dirksen. I'm a bit worried that Marshall might get swung forward again if things go bad. So I'm thinking Dirksen possibly could be the same, but if he stays back, he is named in the back line in that Wiedering position. Maybe he takes a few intercept marks. Maybe he can get me a 60 or 70. I'm still not too sure. What do you guys think? Dirksen or Marshall in there? Like the back line's looking pretty thin now. And to be honest, my team, I might not be go full primo. Lindsay and Murdoch could be in my final team depending what happens. Philip, who might be in my final team. Who knows? Who knows at this stage? Good move ousting Houston. No Collingwood in your team. West Coast to smash them on Saturday. Oh, I hope you're right, Karen. I think it's highly unlikely, but I really hope you're right. Put a bit of a damper on the old Pendlebury celebration. Not that I don't think Pendlebury is an absolute legend of the game. You know, I got nothing against Pendlebury, to be honest. Collingwood, on the other hand, I got plenty against Collingwood. Go Dom Sheed. But Pendlebury, yeah, I got nothing against Pendlebury. You know, he's been nothing but a beacon of, you know, what a good footballer and a good human, pretty much as far as what I've seen should be. So got nothing against him, but I also got nothing against with the clamping. A lot of people are talking about the tag. I think Hoff will go to him. I don't think Murdoch will go to him. If we looked at last week, Murdoch doesn't play midfield. He plays forward and he runs in the midfield a bit. So he tagged Whitfield, who's a defensive player. So I don't think if the tag goes to Dacos, I don't think it'll be Murdoch. I think it'll be Brady Hoff. I don't know if that means that Murdoch is tagging someone or if he's set free, but I got a feeling that's why I've got him on field, that I think it's okay. A bit disappointed that Anderson didn't get named to crew. Could have really done with some money with these rookies coming up next week. I'm not too sure who I'm going to have to drop, whether I might actually have to drop Anderson, even though he's got lots of money to be made. Only players I don't have playing, and this was really good. I was very happy when I saw the team sheets today because I didn't think Marshall would play, and he played. I didn't know if Will Edwards was going to play, and he played. I didn't know if Tom Edwards down here in the forward line was going to play, and he's playing too. So I went from having basically nobody playing to some actual rookies playing, and it might be a tough decision next week to who. Am I getting rid of Tough Dialer for the Banfield kid? Or am I getting rid of Sharp or Anderson for, I think the Carlton Icon, I think he's going to be a must-have. So one of these two guys, or I might even go Rashenko down. If Rashenko has another 50 game, it might be him down and then like a Murdoch up or something like that. But we'll have to see. Karen says, you VC Grundy, but if Trelaw plays, you have no loop. Yep, Dirksen gives you money for the next trade, possibly Bruin to Anderson after his bye. Yep, nice. So I'm kind of stunting my team, but I don't care because I want that score. And then next year, after all the preaching about not getting 3 rucks and it, really stuffing up your team when it comes to flexibility, which is true, next year we might just have to start 3 rucks. I mean, none of the midfielders have really been that consistent when, it might be worth, instead of paying like Dacos is going to be potentially below 500K and we paid 620K for him. Now I paid 620K for Anderson and he's at 500K. So next year it might just be pay up for the 3 rucks and then everybody else is cheap. And hopefully I learnt my lesson too in the forward line. Not paying 500K for any forwards unless they're like Petrarca or Sheasel style, which won't be forwards next year. But people like, and I don't think Pickett will be either, but people like the, Tuke Millers and stuff of the world, I knew it, and I said it at the beginning of the year, and I didn't listen to my own, conversation. You can get the best forwards pretty much in the game for 450, except for maybe the top 2. These last 4 positions, you can get them at 450. And there's no need to pay any more than $450 for them. And that's what I'll be looking at for next year. Yeah, Karen, I'm the same as you. I was keen as mustard on Zorko. But now they've managed him. And in the back of my mind is, well, that means they're probably going to manage him further on down the season. And again, especially for me, concentrating on my leagues, when would they going to manage him? In my brain says, in Seano's very small and, not very complex brain, it says that if you're going to manage him, he'd be in the last couple of weeks. If Brisbane are in the top 2 or the top 4 and they're killing it, and they don't really need him coming into finals, there's a really good chance he gets managed there. So, I like him, but I just worry, that he will be managed and you'll be missing him at some point again. He played one game and then they managed him again, which is not, and then so he's got to buy in a couple of weeks' time. He probably plays a couple of weeks to buy, and then, he might get him managed. Plus the Brisbane defensive line, they got so many good defensive guys there. They don't really need him. They like having him, but they don't really need him. They want him in finals. They don't, as long as they're not losing games. If they're losing games, they might bring him in, but as long as they're winning games and tracking along in the top of the ladder, I don't think they're too worried about leaving him out and managing him at all. Hey, Mass, how are you? Got good old ZZ as your only captaincy loop for Grundy. He's going large as VC. Gorn would have to be the C with ZZ on the bench. Ooh, you don't want that. Don't want that. That's your only option, buddy. You can't. I mean, honestly, I would straight up captain Grundy then. If you've got no loophole, I know it's a risk, but I would straight up captain Grundy. I wouldn't go vice Grundy into Gawn. Gawn is still playing. Max Heath is still named. I still think that, he's playing. I know he's playing a no ruck at Western Bulldogs, but there's still 2 of them there. It still limits his ceiling. I would prefer Butters over Gawn just because you just don't know how much of the game he's going to play in the ruck. And, it just stops him getting a 160 or a 170. Now you watch him. Now that Seano said that, here's the time to clip. Pity you can't clip on YouTube, but if you could clip, here's where you clip Seano saying he's not going to get 150 or 60 and he'll get 150 or 60 for sure. But, yeah. So I think he's a reasonable option. I think he's better than a lot of other choices we have, but I'd be going Butters over Gawn, to be honest. Holmes, you're really hoping Holmes gets defensive DPP as he's in your target for next week's? Well, Bailey Smith is named, which is good. That's a good sign. So it means he should be playing in defense. Tanner Bruin will probably play. Did someone else say that was Warpole named as well? Let's have a look. Because if Warpole is named, he'll almost definitely be back there. Where are they? When do they play? When do they play? Here they are. No changes. So no Warpole. So he's named as a follower, but you never really pay too much attention where he's named. But yeah, I think he's a good pick. So I kind of hope he gets DPP as well. Especially the fact it's coming down a little bit, Lanzy. So yeah, I'm with you. I kind of hope he gets it, but I think he will, but not too sure. You have ZZ, but you expect him to play this week. Good if he doesn't. Why is he? He's not named, but he's named as an emergency. Is that what's happening, and you expect him to play? Why is that? Do you have some information that the rest of us don't have? Show line. He's on extended bench. Who are they losing? Ryan Lester and Cody Curtin. He's named on the bench, so there's no guarantee he's going to play. There's no guarantee he's going to play. You got the C on Butters. I think even though you guys have been hanging out with me, I think everyone here in chat is hanging out with me enough to realise that anything I say turns to shit. So, but I would be choosing Butters. But now I've got Grundy. I'm going Grundy into Butters. But as you can see, I've got Kalani White there because I just expect Grundy to go a million, and Jackson because he plays kind of early. At least I'll get the emergency or set up just in case I have any dramas. I'll be at work on Saturday, so I don't want to have a drama where I forget to get Jackson off the field. So we'll set it up this way, and then if we'll try and keep an eye on scores, and if something happens to Grundy, God help us, we will make that decision then. Yeah, I don't think ZZ will play, but you never know. He is listed as an emergency. Hey, Michael, how you going? Roberts VC into Butters. I think that's a really good choice. I think Roberts is against Richmond is a sneaky good pick. The only problem I have with that is that sometimes when you play shit teams like Richmond or Eagles, the ball doesn't go on the back line very often. So that's the only problem I have with picking these. Roberts has probably got more chance of getting a big score against a good team because the good team is kicking it down there a lot, kicking lots of points. He's getting kick-outs, he's running or whatever. If the whole game is spent in Richmond's front half, he might not get the ball as much, but I still think he's a good pick, and I still think if I had him, I'd be taking a swing at him as a vice-captain as well. Matt says, Mr. Sniff. Mr. Sniff? Had a shoulder issue last week and played with that stupid double shoulder strapping. He was fine, no issue then. So Bailey Smith is Mr. Smith, Mr. Sniff. Sinclair, I like the Sinclair pick as well. Against Freo, yeah, I think without Nas in the team, I think Sinclair is a fairly good pick. I don't see Freo manning up there in the back. I don't see them putting a hard tag on anyone back there. No Grundy worried on Bont doesn't go well. Still, last week, obviously Bont's playing injured. Injured Bont is always scary, but I just think he could go 160 or he could go 100 again. So I wanted to try and get someone who's a little bit safer. Like literally when I looked at my team without Grundy, and the only person I think was a proper captain I felt pretty safe was Butters, was the only one I felt safe for either. I thought there are some other reasonable good choices like Sinclair or Bont, but I think it's not as safe. I would say, with Grundy, I'm expecting a 130 plus. I mean, he could score 200 again, but I'm just expecting an easy 130 for him, and that will be enough for me to lock away my captain's score. And if he goes really big, well, then I don't miss out like I did last week. Traded out Reeves and he has his best score of the year. Isn't that the way, Michael? That happens every single time. The Supercoach gods are fickle and evil gods. They will do it to you every time. Was just training with contact drills early in the week, Mash. Are you still talking about Bailey Smith? You reckon Geelong will have a few plans to nullify Big G? Like who? They've only got Edwards. They didn't even bring in Reece Stanley. So they're going to have to, they won't be able to nullify him. They'll have to do something about the midfielders around him, I would say. Maybe, you assume Mullen goes to Heaney, right? So maybe that is one of their plans to stop, as many hit-outs to advantage. But Edwards ain't going to be able to do nothing about Grundy. I thought they might bring in Reece Stanley and try and double team him if that was a thing to work, but I doubt it's going to do much. Lancey says, if ZZ is in, I'm going to have no loop. Got screwed over, but ZZ is being late in. Yeah, you don't want that late in business again. It's nice that you guys have got no loops, that you've got all your players playing. That's one good thing. Like last week, I think I had like 2 rookies on the bench playing. So this time of the year, if that's the worst of the worst thing happening at this time of year, it's not too bad because you're going to need that money. You got the buys coming up. You're going to want to trade the buys. You're going to make money. Like look at my rookies. They're playing, but they haven't made much money. If we have 3 good rookies next week, I don't know if I can get 3 good rookies. I might just because, I don't have anyone. Do I really want to get rid of Anderson, who's on a break even of 5? do I really want to get rid of Sharp, which is on a break even -6? Maybe Duff Tyler, who hasn't really made me any money, can go for the mid forward Banfield kid. If Banfield can get a 60 or a 70, maybe he can go. But I'm also going to have to get the Geelong kid as well, Ice Cream, whatever his name is. So yeah, so might have to sell someone preemptive. Might have to preemptive sell them before I want to. Carlton is the worst matchup for Bont. Is that right? Is it 125? Oh no, Carlton is his worst matchup. Bont for Supercoach, etc. For Bont, well, he's not playing Carlton, so we don't have to worry about that, Corey. If that you're just letting us know. Away. 2 180s. Wow. Do you think Sarong is a hold, Lansy? Okay, so me and my friends, so I got a few Freo supporter mates living over here in Perth, and we were all chatting during the game on Messenger, chatting away, and we were saying that the AFL says 2 to 3 weeks, but if they're doing really well, do they rest him to the bye, to after the bye then? So potentially Freo have, so minimum, well, you never believe anything anyone says these days, but minimum, so around 11, around 12, do they bring him back for round 13 for that one round if he's good? Or do they just say, nah, we'll leave him out for 13, 14. So he could potentially be out to round 15. So it's up to you, but he's either going to be back in round 13, play one game, and then out around 14 and 15, and then back in 15 again, or he could be just out to 15. So I think if you wanted to get off him, even though his form has been turned around a little bit, it's a good time to get off him. Like if your Sarong gets you to Grundy or gets you to a top midfielder. Not that I really can tell you who's going to be a top midfielder at the moment because it's so up in the air this year. You got, besides Butters and Bont, who the hell are the top midfielders? You can throw a blanket over about 10 of them, and one week they get you an 80, and one week they can get you 100. And Bailey Smith probably. Bailey Smith is probably the only other one that's really put his foot down and said, I am a top 4 midfielder. But besides that, I really don't know who the top midfielders are. You traded out Lindsay to get Roberts. Thoughts? Tim, I really like Lindsay, and he might be in my end team because of the disastrous state of my team. But if it gets you Roberts, I understand. Roberts' matchup this week looks really good. Looks like he's been one of the best players in the defense there. He's a absolute Sheridan pig. So I understand. I would prefer it if you could get somebody else to him, if you could get a Selwood or someone else to him. But if that's the only way you get to him, and you're not doing any, leaving yourself too, bare on the, like if you've got no bench cover and you're playing like Dirksen in D6 like I am, then maybe not. But if you've got some cover, and yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. If you can keep Lindsay, you would keep him. I think Lindsay's going to be good for an 80-ish most weeks. On a bad week, he's probably going to get 70, but he could easily pop out a 110 too, I think, Lindsay. Taking all the kick-ins, if the other team kicks a lot of points, he keeps up his efficiency rate, I think he could easily I think he could easily get over 100 on a good day. So I think he's one you certainly could keep, but if he gets you to the best of the best, then I understand that you're doing it. I won't talk you out of it. Every time I try and talk someone out of doing something, it turns to gold. Well, it would have turned to gold. Like I talked to a few of you poor people in chat out last week. It said, Seano, should we get Bailey Smith? And I was like, oh no, you've got a lot of round 16 players. Maybe you shouldn't do that. And he scored 150. So What does Seano know? If you want, if you want Archie Roberts, get Archie Roberts. If you want Bailey Smith, get Bailey Smith. I wanted Grundy. I went out and got Grundy, and I traded a premium to do it. So, I can't talk. I want the players in my team that I want. It's going to make zero difference to my rank, whether it goes up or down. And I'm going to struggle to make a full team anyway. So, if you're in a position like me, just do what makes you happy. Do with the players. Like, I wasn't very happy last week after Grundy scores 400 points. I wasn't very happy at all for most of the weekend. So this weekend, if he does it again, at least I'm going to be semi-happy. Whether I lose my match or not, at least I'll be happy that I have that score. Mass, nearly all the content creators follow each other to be way off the pace this season. It started with not wanting to pay up for the rucks and the biggest scores. Yeah, Mass, I think we all overanalyze. Sometimes I think myself and the other content creators, we all overanalyze. We all looked at stuff. We all got sucked into like Houston, sucked into Clark. I think I'm still happening now. I think I got sucked into Finn Callahan only 2 weeks ago. I tried to talk myself out of it and I did it anyway. Like, I wonder if she's here today, but poor Kristen last week, who I recommended to go McCluggage over Callahan, everything Seano says, do the opposite. I swear, it's just the way to go. Supercoach gods hate me this year. Even though I think in the long run, I still think McCluggage could be better than Callahan in the long run. But last week, he definitely was not. Yeah. Is there any idea how... I don't think it's long. Wiedering... Yeah, he's not even on the injury list. So, and in the lineups, it just said... Well, it just says, yeah... Jacob... All right, let's put it in the old AI and see what the AI says. Let's put it in the old AI. It's this Saturday's round 11 clash against Port. Club made official announcement. Here's what you need to know. The club is treating this as a precautionary measure. He has been given the week off to rest and recover with the expectation that he'll return in round 12. So only 1 week. Yeah, so there is a chance that good old Wade Dirksen plays 1 week and goes back out. The only thing that I'm hoping is that, one, he plays really well. Apparently he's been playing really well in the VFL. Apparently the new coach, which this is third-hand news, so I don't know if this is actually true or not. Apparently the new coach likes him, and it looks like he can play forward and defense. After 2 weeks ago, he kicked 5 goals in the VFL, and last week he played in defense and dominated there. So maybe someone else goes out of the team. If someone else gets injured, like a forward, they just keep him in. Or if another defender gets injured, they keep him in. Or maybe he just plays really well and, someone else drops out for Wiedering. So that's my hopes. But at 99K, I think you have to take the risk, especially considering there are no other rookies on the bubble this week. So I was thinking about going early on the Icon, however you bloody say his name, Icon. I'm just gonna call him Ice Cream, I think. ISO, I think it is. Ison, not Icon. There's no K in it. For some reason, I thought there was a K in it. So Ison, Jack Ison. This kid here, I was considering going early on him, but now I'll just wait to next week, because you know what happens when you go early on someone. They always get injured or get dropped or whatever. So he looks good. Everyone says from Carlton that they think he has to stay in the team, but we've all heard that before. We all thought Elijah Stardust had to stay in a team, right? And Brad Scott proved us all wrong. So I'm going with Dirksen this week, and then next week we've got quite a lot of rookies. Quite a lot of rookies to look at. And that's when I'll be doing lots of 2 or 3 downgrades, potentially an upgrade, but at least 2 or 3 downgrades and banking up a whole pile of money so to spend during the buys. And unfortunately, I don't have many rookies to sell, but I'll be buying. Also, kind of look into it. The rookies you're buying now potentially could be rookies that you're keeping to near the end of the season. So you want to try and pick decent ones that you think will be playing for a while. I know that's easier said than done. We just talked about how Dirksen might play for a week. The thing I feel with Dirksen, though, he's right on that fringe. Unless he plays terribly, even if he goes out next week, it'll only take an injury for him to get back in. So that's why I'm not too worried about him. What else we want to do? Played less than 3 matches and less than like 220k. I don't think I'll be going Roby at 240, whatever he is, or 250. So Ison, yep, think as long as he gets more than 40 probably this week, he's probably a lock next week. No. Noah Robert Thompson, I think this is one that he'll have to show a little bit more this week. He had to kick a couple of goals to get that score. And we know what happens with Richmond rookies and rookies in general, where they don't kick a couple of goals, and that could be a 30 without a couple of goals. He could be another Tom Burton. So Billy Wilson. Who the hell is Billy Wilson? 35 and a 74. 219, too much, I would say. Too much now. Bodie Ryan already played. How did he do today? How did he do? Because I was just worried. You got Scrimshaw to come back. Hawthorn are a good team. I just didn't pick him just because I can't trust the job security. But, he got there he got a 30. And that's why. That's why we don't pick them. He got a 30. So hopefully you guys didn't go with a Bodie Ryan that we kind of predicted would be not great. Charlie Banfield, here's one. As I was a big fan of his dad here at the Eagles. Banfield was a brilliant player and a good club man and all that. So hopefully his son is just as good. And I was a bit disappointed, I have to admit, when the Eagles didn't get him and he went to St Kilda, but all the best to him and his family. I hope he does really well over there. And I hope he comes out and smacks like a 70 this week, because he has the mid-forward status. So he's one that I will go him just because, him and Ison, just because he's got the mid-forward status, even though some of these others might be a little bit more dependable. Harrison Oliver, we'll need to see if he plays this week. Henry Huswaite, if only he was... how did he go tonight? Not that I'll be getting him at 200k, I think, but... Did he not? I thought he played. Tonight, but is that a no? He did not play? I guess that's a no. He did not play. Locke didn't play. Okay. Wade Dirksen, yep, we already got him. And so there are going to be some choices next week. I don't think I'd be going Nick Bryan in the ruck, guys. I think the whole 250k ruck to make money time is gone. It hasn't really worked yet this season. If he's a 100k, 120k ruck that plays only ruck, full-time ruck, then maybe, but 250k, I don't like it. So, I think you're going to have some choices next week. Potentially probably Ison, Roberts, Thompson, Charlie Banfield are going to be there looking at us. Well, let's just have another look at them this week and see how they go. Karen says you have Dev Rob still, but crazy timing and matches mean both games at the same time. Oh, that's for your loophole. Yeah, I know, the stupid Friday matches as well. Sarong could be 4 weeks. Yep, like we discussed. Super Blue Iris, maybe that's how you say it. Baz, Baz is a premium midfielder. Maybe, I know I'm a little bit behind in chat. Maybe that's what you meant. Lansy, thinking you just might use one of your 3 boosts this week to ship Sarong off. Yes, mate, 3 boosts. Use it. Yep, use it to get rid of Sarong and maybe to get in Dirksen. If they can get you 2 primos, if you get rid of who are you going to get? Sarong off for a Wilkie. Yeah, I was super keen on Wilkie. And if you guys haven't watched my trades and captains video, go back and watch that one. And something even funnier. Oh, before I talk about funny stuff, if you haven't already liked the video, like the video. There's 20 people watching, and we have, how many likes do we have? We don't have 20, that's for sure. We've got 5. So like the video, my friends. And then I'm going to tell you a funny story. Not that funny. So people must love misery, because my Monday video, my team review, got the most views out of any team review I've done so far this year. And it had the clickbait sign. The clickbait was worst round ever, and everyone watched it. So you guys must like it when Seano gets punished or potentially has a rant or whatever, because, yeah, almost 500 views. So thank you for everyone who watched it. But, yeah, you guys must like the punishment. But hopefully there'll be less of those. More rants, less clickbait of, Sean's team is poo. Like, probably that'll be one you'll see a lot near the end of the season. But, yes, if you haven't already like now, do it. You only have to click a button. It doesn't hurt. Won't hurt your finger. If you break your finger, I'll pay for your doctor's bills. Corey says, jumped. Preseason lesson learnt. All preseason didn't want Clark and Rosie and went there after Ash and Blakey went bad opening round, had all preseason. I don't think Rosie was a bad pick. It was just unlucky. I think you had to have Rosie, Corey. I don't think you can be down on Rosie. Everybody had him. And I still think he would have been a top 6 defender by the end of the season. And I'll be picking Rosie, if next year, if he's available. But yeah, Clark, I don't know. I like Clark preseason. I just didn't think he had the spike score available. At least you picked him preseason, mate. I was dumb enough to buy him in during the season after seeing how crap he was. So give yourself a pat on the back for not doing it not for buying the players once you see how crap they are, like I've done with Callahan and Clark. So there we go. Wayne, how are you, Wayne? I'm good, mate. Nice to see you. David, you're from Darwin, and Josh Fraser was Dirkson's coach in Terry Pathway a few years ago, so they have that history. Yeah, hopefully keeps his spot. That's where people were saying that Josh likes him. So that's a good sign, it's always a better sign if the coach knows what they're capable of, right? If he comes out and has one shit game, but the coach has seen what he's capable of, he's more likely to keep him in his team. So I like that. Thank you for letting us know that, David. Appreciate that. Did you get to see any of the games up in Darwin over the last few weeks when they were up there? They were up there, weren't they? Jay Wilson, you're going to vice Nick Dacos this week. I think it's okay to vice Nick Dacos. He could be tagged, but I think it's okay. I think he will be tagged, to be honest. I think he will be tagged, but he still can go big. Can Hoff go with Nick Dacos? I'm not too sure. Bodie Ryan got 20. Yeah, pretty useful. And Murray, 0. Murray got 0? What? Did he get injured? How does he get 0? People were buying him in for 250k. He must have got injured, right? Nope. So, no, he didn't. Playing a ruck role on Sicily. No points. Oh, my Lord. Banfield will play with Owens and Higgins out until they come back. Is that what you're saying? Owen and Higgins out. When they come back, Banfield goes out. Hopefully he lights the world on fire and they have to keep him in. You're a Saints man. You love Charlie Banfield in his first game. That's good, Wilson. Yeah, like I said, all the best to the kid. His father was an absolute gun. So if he's 50% of the player his father was, you've got yourself something really good there. Lansy, you've done Cook and Jack. Jake's is potentially playing this week, is he not? For Roberts and Dirksen, but want to save your last spot in your defence for Holmes to get him for Song. Isn't Jake's playing, or is he just on the extended bench? No, he's named in the team, buddy. So he's still got money to make, right? You're actually one of these lucky people that still got him. How much is he gonna make? Oh, he's got to break even at 50. Okay. All right, fair enough. It wouldn't take much to re-kick his cash gen because he's got that 34. If you kept him a few weeks, he could make you another 30 or 40 grand and cover you through the buys. So have you got any non-playing rookies that you could sell? Probably not, hey? You can't, if you have to do it, you have to do it. But I think he could make a 30 or 40 grand. But if it gets you Roberts, I guess, fine. Like we said, Roberts is going to score more than Jake's. Depends on what's more important, 40 grand or, 70 points or whatever potentially. You had Cook at 2% preseason. Remember showing your preseason team with him in it, but never went him all this season. Corey, I'm the same. There's two big misses this season by me, and they're probably worth 600. They're worth 500,000. They're worth one premium player between them. It's Cook and Willem Dersma. The two of those just get those two preseason. I have an extra 500k in the bank, but Seano's a bit dumb and he didn't do that. In the Eagles game where he smashed it, I think Rosie's a quality player. I think we don't have to worry too much about him. Hopefully he'll be a little bit cheap next year since he hasn't played this whole year. If he comes in at a discount, how much did he finish at before he went down? 560. And he played 2 games. So he'll get a discount. If he comes back, when's he? 18 to 20. Well, this could be okay. If he comes back and has a few low scores and finishes off at about 500,000, you might get him, pretty cheap next year. Maybe cheaper than what we started him at this year. So could be a good bargain next year. Eagles will dominate the Seagull, Karen. Hope so. No, he played out the game, was horrible. Oh, is that the Toby Murray got 0? 0. Nothing worse than when your player just gets nothing. Lansy, the only playing rookie you have is the only non-playing. I thought you said the only playing rookie. The only non-playing rookie is Anderson. Okay, that's fine. David, got your AFL fixed last couple of weeks in Darwin. Stoked to see a territorial like Dirksen get a game. Nice, David. Good to hear. So, guys, I'm going to have a 2-second break. Before I do, don't forget to like. I'm going to be right back, and then we're going to get into your teams. So, if you haven't already chucked your team in the Discord, do that. If you pop it in the chat, we'll probably still be able to do it, but we'll get through the ones in Discord first. So, if you've got your team in Discord, don't go away. I'm going to go back and doing that. Like the video. There's 22 people watching the video at the moment. And did we get more than 5 likes? We got up to 10. So still not 22. You can do better. I could also do better. But you can also do better. So like the video. I'm going to give you the be right back screen. And then we're going to go through your teams. Be right back. Okay, we're back. We're back. We're back. That was a bit hot. Had to take the jumper off. Okay. All right. Let's get into your teams. My and your favorite part. Who cares about my team? Who cares about my team? Now, WC rule. I know. I'm pretty sure we saw you here in chat. Hey mate, thinking Reeves and Blamiers to Ryan and Grundy. You're the one who just said how yeah, Reeves end up going Reeves to DCAM and Sarong to Holmes. Think you settled on that? Yeah, you said you went Reeves and now he scored. What did he score? How did he stick it to you? He got himself a 95. Yeah, bit rough. Still, though, DCAM, I don't mind the DCAM pick. I mean, Steen is out. Like, he should be the number one ruck. He does rumble, ruck, He says he does number one ruck against the Eagles this week. If he's ever going to get a good score, it'll be this score. The only issue I have with that, buddy, is that does that hamper you in getting, who else have you got rucks here? So you got Gawn, McAndrew, and Reeves. So you're going to get you're basically going 100k up to Reeves. Then what are you keeping McAndrew until he's bye and flogging him for his bye? Are you planning to get a Sherry or something like that after the bye, or you want to get a Grundy? I think because your ruck set up, it's fine. If you already had another big boy ruck, I'd be a little bit worried. But I think the big three rucks, you're probably going to want them. You're probably going to want them at the end of the time. 3 of the 4 big rucks, you're probably just going to want them. I've got them now, and I've come to the conclusion, well, bugger it, I'm just getting them. So yep. So how's the rest of your team going, buddy? Roberts, Whitfield, nice. Dale, Sinclair. That's a pretty awesome looking defense, mate. Houston, Lindsay. Yeah, don't worry, mate. I sold Houston this week. He's going to get you 150 for sure. No problems. With no kickouts. Selwood and Blamiers. Did you say you are selling Blamiers? Blamiers is not named, I think. Is that correct? He's not named this week. Butters, Bont, Callahan, Walsh, Sarong, Cook, Murdoch and Sharp, Rashenko, Anderson and Burton. Nice. Like we said, we saw the ruck line. Petrarca, Sheasel, Pickett, Flanders, Rochelle. Well, if Rankinen is out for a couple of weeks, Rochelle might get some of his mid-time back. Did he score? Get a bit of an uptake? Where he still didn't score great. But how was his second? Well, this seems weird. You would expect that he would have scored more in the second half where Rank wasn't playing, but he's actually scored less. That was unexpected. Let's have a centre bounce tendencies in quarter 3. Quarter 4. When did Rank got injured? Way before quarter 4, didn't he? When did Rank get injured? But he still didn't seem to pick up his CBA. So hopefully that'll change for you in the next few weeks, mate. And you got Brent Daniels there as well. I mean, Flanders. Still got Jagger Smith, who is going to be... It's kind of nice. I kind of wish I still had Jagger Smith. Not as he's scoring well, but he's going to get forward DPP. And so is Murdoch. It's going to make your team nice and flexible. Jones and Henry scoring you sweet FA, but at least they're playing and scoring you stuff. Oh, did Henry keep his spot? He must have. You said you've got them all playing, so he must have. I was a bit worried he wouldn't score very much, but at least he's scoring something for you, buddy. Mac to X after the bye. I think that's a smart thing to do. That was my plan, Michael, was to wait till Sherry had his bye and then get him afterwards. And then this week I just gave it the big screw it. Seano said, screw it. I'm getting Grundy. I don't care how much it destroys my team. If Dirksen wasn't named, this is how much I was prepared to screw up my team. I was going to get rid of Sam Walsh and bring in Grundy and Ison, the Carlton rookie, a week early. That's how much I was willing to destroy my team just because I wanted Grundy in and I didn't really care. And I was gone like, hey, screw it. Hey, Tiger Matty, how you going? I'm doing very well, mate. Nice to see you here in chat. And I know you hang out in the old Discord a bit. It's always good to see you, mate. Pure LCD, another one who likes to hang out and chat quite a bit. Season rank, yep, we won't go too much into that because you're having a season still better than mine. I won't say like mine, you're still doing better than me. Whitfield, Dale, Sinclair, Houston, Clark, Coleman, Ryan and Dirksen, reasonable. You got playing rookies at least, even if you didn't get you as much. Butters, Bont, Dacos, Anderson. Well done on holding Anderson. I don't know if you got him back in, but if you held him, well done, mate. I sold him and he's just punishing me the last couple of weeks. Ed Richards is a weird one, right? He's still getting the most CBAs he's still getting the most CBAs there at the Bulldogs, right? He's just not scoring like you would expect him to be. Ed Richards, like the last 3 weeks, 80, 97, and 91 CBAs, and yet he got a 60. I mean, where does that come from? McCluggage, hopefully for a better score this week. I still don't mind the luggage pick. Maybe it'll come. Maybe at the end of the season it won't turn out how I think, but I still think the luggage pick is okay. It just didn't work out last week. Rashenko, Anderson. Obviously, Anderson's not playing, so I assume you're going to be having probably Ison overcoming on the field. Maybe you take a risk. I know Cumming was named as a follower, but I think they name Cumming as a follower every week, and then every week he doesn't seem to get the greatest amount, of CBAs or so. Depends on which way you want to look at it. I mean, he's named as a follower, but I think they've done this every week. So Jacob Hopper's there. I don't know how many CPAs he gets, to be honest. If it was me, I'd be taking a risk on Ison, but it could go either way, to be honest. Could go either way. Grundy, Gorn, and the ZZ, very nice, very nice. Petrarca, she's all rank. What are you feeling on rank, mate? You're just holding rank. He'll miss his bye anyway next week, and then hopefully he's back the week after. I guess if I had rank, I'd probably be holding. Unless they come out and say it's going to be longer than that, but with his bye anyway, I think it makes it less of an issue to hold myself if he's only going to be like 3 weeks. If he's going to be 4 weeks, even if he's going to be 4 weeks, I think one of them being a bye, I think he's still a hold. Lombard and Reedy, I sold Lombard when he was like 210k, so just another mistake to chalk up next to Seano's name. He's going to be worth over 300k now, so I made about 80k and everybody else is going to make 200k. Yep, good one, Seano. Cook, great. Philippou and Selwood. Yeah, it looks nice, mate. I still like your team. I like your team, buddy. I mean, I know you're ranked 40,000, but I still like your team. Here is a team that we were discussing a little bit. Fear the Mad Dog is ranked 72. Congratulations, mate. Very, very good. Rochelle had no CBAs, which is, we're just going to have a catch up on chat. Curtin and Thrillthorpe got the mid-time up. Yeah, Danny Curtin. He's the man. Feel like Richards is still sore from his injury. Richards there should have rested him when he got. Yeah, so it seems that way, right? Like he's playing injured. Like him and Bont are both playing injured. All right, so we got Roberts. Excuse me, itchy nose. Roberts, Whitfield, Sinclair, Malera, the good Malera pick, mate. Clark, Lindsay. We were saying that your team's really good in 72, and you've got Clark in your team. Perez and Dirksen. He's got Butters, Abont, Holmes, Merritt, Oliver, Sarong. I wonder what you're doing about Sarong, mate. Are you here in chat? Isn't long term. Yeah, hoping rank. I also, Lancy, for you and for the people that have him and the people who want him like me, hope it's not long term. Sarong, Murdoch, Rashenko, Bird. The fact he's got Dirksen in his team, he posted this, I'm pretty sure, before the teams were named, so he might have had Dirksen in there from beforehand, which is lucky for him. So maybe he's doing something about Sarong, maybe. He was on for a good score, Young Money. He was on like 50 at halftime, wasn't he? I was kicking myself because I told everyone to buy him 2 weeks ago, We went through him. We went through Finn Callaghan. We went through Hugh McCluggage. I was like, I like ranked the best. He's a goal-kicking midfielder. He's getting high CBAs. He's probably going to be a top 3 or 4 forward. And then I bought Finn Callaghan. And then he went and scored 110. And I was like, you idiot, Seano. And then this week he was on 50 at half time. And I'm like, yes, confirmed, Seano is an idiot. And then he got injured. And I was like, well, you're still an idiot, but you're a lucky idiot. Maybe that's what I should call my team next year, the Lucky Idiots. I'll tell you what we're going to do, crew. No, I won't do it now, but as we go into the season, I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to learn how to do polls, and then I'm going to let you guys decide what to name my team next year. We're going to come up with some names, and you guys are probably unflattering names, I would say, and then I'm going to let you guys decide what to call my team for next season. Petrarca, Sheasel, Pickett, McInerney, I hate you, mate. You hurt me last week. Flanders, Cook, Will Edwards, Marshall, and Artie Jones or Arthur Jones. Yep, very nice. That's a 70. Now, look at this team, crew, and then look at your team. Is this team really that different from your team when you look at it? When I look at it, besides having the big dogs in the back line, these two big dogs, good pick here. It doesn't look that different from a lot of other teams out there, but this team is ranked 72. So it just shows how a little bit of luck, a little bit of Grundy score, a little bit of good picks early on in the season can really help. And this is the same reason why I don't expect to be going up in the ranking too much because, if your team looks kind of like the team that's ranked right up the top and yet you're ranked at 50,000 plus, it's going to be hard to jump too many spots without some crazy thing happening like a 400 Grundy score. Again, well done to those people who had it last week. But yes, well done to Until the Whistle or Fear the Mad Dog as he's known here in Discord. Very nice. I hope you keep pushing, mate. It's the season. You get a couple of good rounds, couple of good decisions. You could be, I don't know if you can get to first, but you could be right up there. I mean, top 20 maybe top 10 with a few good rounds. Make some good decisions. Maybe get a pod when the time is right. If you're here in chat, let me know what your thinking is this week, mate, because I'm pretty sure this is before, you find out about Sarong or whatever. All right, when we get to your team, who is next? Michael, who is in 15,000 rank, which was really good for Michael. Michael and me were chatting at the beginning of the season. I was a bit worried about his team. He was a little mid-price badness, and he went on to just he's killing it now at 15,000. I'd be very happy to be at 15,000. So Roberts, Dale's another one that I wasn't super keen on, who's gone killing it. Sinclair, Houston, Whitfield, McKercher, Jakes, and Turkson. Looks very nice. Butters, Bont, Dacos, Walsh, Philippou, Murdoch, Roshenko, Anderson, Sardis, Burton, and Ison. He's going early on Ison. Grundy, Grawn with Smith. So will make money with Smith, I think, this week. Petrarca, Sheasel, Bolton, Pickett, Bailey, Flanders, Lombard, Marshall, and Jackson. Yeah, it's a really nice looking team, Michael. Your team has... I was a bit worried about your team at the beginning of the season, and now your team looks a million times better than my team, I have to admit. So, yeah, well done, mate. Well done. And well done, I think 15,400 is not a bad rank. Your top 10%, which is what I aim for every year, and when you're in a competition with 200,000 teams, I think top 10% is pretty reasonable, If you're sitting an exam or something, or, and you finish in the top 10% of your class, you're usually pretty happy, right? Yeah, Corey, I also thought of the Impossibles. Something like that with Corey Wiggum, I thought also would be funny. I did think of that. Something to do with Ralph, with Skippy, potentially with... all the ones we love. So something to do with this one.
Me fail English? Me fail English? That's impossible.
That's the Impossibles. potentially have...
Nerd!
Maybe something to do with the nerds. I also like this one as well. I like...
Don't worry, Mr. B. I have a cunning plan to solve the problem.
The cunning plans. Something like that. Something that's... We'll think up 3 or 4 or 5 different names, and I'll let you guys vote on it, Corey. Kales? Is that how I say your name? Kales? Noble? Well, that's... did you get him in last week or did you get him in this week, Noble? Looks like you might have got him in. I think most of these teams came in before the teams came down. So if you had Noble last week and you got the 161, very nice. Doesn't say what you ranked, though, unfortunately, but you got a pretty dangerous back line with Sinclair, Blakey, the 156. You must have had a good round, I would think. Do you have Grundy? Oh, you don't have Grundy. Imagine if you had Grundy in this team. Wilkie, Lindsay, and Buderick with Azizi and Perez on the bench. Butters, Smith, Bont, Dacos, Walsh, Bruin, Murdoch, Sardis. The usual rooks, Rashenko, Cummings, and Sharp. Sherry and Gawn, Petrarca, Sheasel, Flanders, Reed, Cook, Philippou, McAndrew, Lombard, and Henry. I like the look of this team in the way that a few trades and he's going to be very dangerous. Very dangerous. Did I hear correctly? I watched the game, but not real, especially the second half. Did they tag Cook today for you poor Cook owners? How much did Cook score in the end? Did they tag him? I still got a 67, so even if they did tag him, that's very reasonable. That's very reasonable. Young Money, this is a very good question, and this is one I'm trying to debate myself. Who should we field out of Lombard, Archie Jones, or Tom Marshall? And in my team, it's not those guys. It's Tom Marshall, Will Edwards, and Dirksen. So I'm saying take out Archie Jones, Arthur Jones. No, I don't know why they call him Archie Jones. Take out Arthur Jones. I think it's between Lombard and Marshall, and I think the fact that Marshall can swing forward, and when he does, he gets to score a bugger all, and Lombard seems to be playing a little bit further up the field and is coming off a 90, maybe I would give the man who seems to be in a little bit of form. But I would think Arthur Jones is out. I think it's out of Marshall or Lombard. If they said to me Marshall was going to stay back and not go forward, I would say Marshall, but I don't trust that if they need a forward and they need some goals, if Port starts getting smacked and they need some goals, there we go, we should be doing that. Will they send him forward? BP, this is your team? This is your team, Kales? Must be. First time submitting, jumped on Noble and Wilkie 3 weeks ago. You're a smart man. What's your overall score, buddy? I can't see your overall score, but how are you doing? But Noble, genius. And Wilkie, genius too. So well done, mate. 2 really good scores there, mate. And like I said, your team looks really good. Your team looks... A few trades. You've got all the players that you've got a few pods in... a lot of people have got Roberts in the back line. You've got Blakey. I really like Blakey. I did tell people to buy Blakey last week, even though I didn't do it myself. Again, be nice to listen to my own advice every once in a while. Noble's one that came out of, wasn't even on my radar, so that's a good pick, mate. And those type of picks are ones that jump you up the rankings. So, most of your players are the players that you really want. Maybe the only player I'm thinking is a bit suspect, which we're hoping is all going to come good, including the man I've got in my team, is Walsh, which we hope gets better. But under the new coach, I'm not too sure what's happening, but we just hope that Walsh can get back up to at least that 100-ish most weeks. And probably time to move along the Murphy. Actually, the Reed and the Cooks are doing you fine. I've made the mistake of buying into the forward line. I think if I'm you, mate, I'm get these 2 back dudes out of here for, Lindsay you can keep, but Buderick needs to go for another big dog here if you can. Whitfield or Archie Roberts or someone who can go big. And then down here, obviously, you want to get, you want to get some midfielders in here, and I wouldn't even worry too much about your forward line. It's doing you fine. It's making you money. You'll be able to pick up a 450k, depending on what Cook's break even is. If Cook's break even was like 70 or 80 this week, it might be time to move him on, especially coming into his buy. So it's probably a good time to get rid of Cook, especially if you got Petrarca and Sheasel there, and you got McAndrew. So, not a bad week to maybe move Cook on for somebody, whether it's a Tuke Miller or probably not Tuke Miller because he's on his buy as well. So maybe you're waiting to after. Sitting about 70k with this team. See, that's a shock, mate. You said you're sitting at 70k. So, it just shows, right? It just shows your team can be, a really good killing it team, but a little bit of bad luck and you're right down there. You're right down in the dumps with Seano. So do whatever makes you happy, like I did this week. Yes, they did tag Cook. I think that's Corey telling me that. Cook with McGuinness, that's a kind of a weird tag, isn't it? Did not Jordan Dawson had a pretty good game, didn't he? 111. You would have thought, where does Barry come from? Barry is smacking it every week, is he not? It's like, since when has Barry been the best midfielder at Adelaide? He's just banging it every week. Cook never got near it. 67 from 10 touches was a data special. Wing Roll and Tassie were never favourable though. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And he got a bit tagged from McGuinness. That's a bit rough. So, Chaos, thanks for submitting your team, buddy. I really appreciate you doing it. No, that's fine, mate. I mean, I just like to, give you guys a bit of an audience to chuck your team up there and have a bit of a chat about it. And I think, like we say, nobody really wants to look at my team. My team is an absolute disaster. I like your team better than my team, even though we're both at 70k, mate. So, Causa, the ladies, man, I know you're probably still here in chat. 33 season rank, again, still reasoned, 71k in the bank. Sinclair, another man with Blakey, nice. Ash, Malera, Houston, Clark, Selwood, Edwards. So your defense is filled and finished, even though it's got a few fake primos in there. But at the moment, you're going to have to keep them until start, filling up the rest. Butters, Bont, Holmes, Neal, Dacos, Callahan, Murdoch, Rashenko, Anderson, Cumming, Burton. You only got a couple of spots to fill here too. Jackson, McAndrew. Corey, what are you doing with coming into the buys? Are you doing anything with McAndrew or Rochelle, or you just keeping them till after the buy and then just letting them cover you all through the buys to the rest of the teams? Or are you, flogging them off before their buy? Or I think a lot of people are probably looking to go McAndrew to Sherry if he comes down to about 600k. I think that's probably a smart move, smarter than doing what I'm doing this week and destroying my team to get Grundy in. Is probably, whether it pays off or not, but I think that's what common sense tells you to do. Now, Supercoach gods have a funny way of, taking your common sense and sticking it where it fits, making you look very foolish, your common sense. But I don't know. Tell me out there in chat, if you guys have got Adelaide players, a lot of people are going to have McAndrew, a lot of people are going to have Rochelle, you might have Rank. I think we decided Rank's probably a hole. But these players, what about Cook? These players that you're probably thinking about selling, are you selling them next week before their buy? Or are you keeping them after the buy and holding them through to cover you? You might just get Darcy Cameron, Corey says. This is Corey's team. You go straight swap from McAndrew to Darcy Cameron. You're thinking of doing that this week? I mean, could you not go like Selwood down to Dirksen, 200k? You'd have 600 then. It's doable. Corey, looking at your team, if this is before your trades, I'd probably go Selwood, take the money, go Selwood down to Dirksen. You've got 200, make 200,000. Plus you got 70K in the bank, right? You said you had 70K. That's 270K. That's going to be enough to get Sherry. You'd be able to wait one round, do another downgrade next week. Then you'll have even more money to spend it, and then go McAndrew up to Sherry. Will you be able to complete your team? But I mean, your midfield already goes pretty deep, deeper than mine. You've only got these 2 spots to fill. And your forward line, well, you're playing a rookie on the forward line at the moment, which is not terrible. Oh, you've got another gun here. You've got McCluggage here as well. So you've only got no spots in defence to fill. You got 1 spot in the midfield. You got 1 spot in the ruck, and potentially 1 spot in the forward line. And then you've got luxury trades to spend. So yeah, I think that's, if I had your team, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be going Selwood down this week. You want to get Darcy for a forward. So who are there any forwards? Do you have any boosts left? Could you get rid of Roses, put Kalani White in the forward line? Yeah. So the only one, does that mean you're getting a Banfield or something, Corey, if you want Roses gone? He's going to lose a lot of money, isn't it? I think I remember someone saying that he's got like a million break even or something. I don't know if you got any boosts. Maybe it's a time for chucking in a boost. Break even 141. Yeah, that's rough. If he comes out and gets let's just give him, if he gets a 60, he loses 35K. Yeah, you need to sell him this week. Can you go up? Can you go up then? Can you go Dirksen down to Selwood, get yourself 270K, and then put that 270K on the top of Roses and get someone for the forward line? Is that enough to get you? I guess you don't want Petrarca this week. You don't want Tuke Miller. The forwards that you want are all on bye, which is tricky, unless you wanted to go the Zach Bailey, who's had a few down weeks. A Sparrow. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. I mean, in your particular case, I wouldn't recommend it to too many others, but in your particular case, if you wanted to go a Tuke Miller or a Petrarca or something like that, I wouldn't hold it against you, just because, yes, they're coming into their bye, but losing 30K is probably worse than buying a player that's going to have a bye. And your forward line isn't too bad. You got Rochelle there as well, so it's not great, but it doesn't already have, it's not like you've got Sheasel and Petrarca and you're getting in Tuke Miller and you're getting Rank. So yeah, I wouldn't begrudge you doing it, but if you wanted to go a little bit different and get a Sparrow, yeah, do that. Why not? Time's to play. The time is to play. Like I said, you're ranking, you're not exactly going to finish in the top 1,000 or whatever. So if you want to see Sparrow in your team, why not do it? Yeah. ST Bing, I was thinking the same thing. The only reason you wouldn't do that is because of the buy, but you've got to get rid of Roses. You're right. And the only other thing you could do is you could close your eyes and you could, go Roses to Banfield, and you could go early on too. You can't get in, got no DPP. Yeah, DPP. If only DPP was one more week. If only it was one more week away from DPP, and you could, you would be able to get like Murdoch down here and get Ice on or something like that. Just saying, can you get McCluggage, Anderson, Murdoch? Yeah, it's tricky. Hey, Michael. You think starting a loophole next season is important because not only your rookies will make money because the sub rule is gone, but CAPC and VC scores can help you climb the rank. Yeah, 100%. With there's no round this year, there was less of a reason to do it because of the round zero. I think I've had a loophole every single week, even though I didn't start one, just because, except for week one, just because of the round zero. But if there's no round zero next year, just this ruck position, unless there's a, unless there is 100K ruck that looks like they're going to play and be the full-time ruck, that it's perfect to have it there. It gives you like a nice swapping, able to swap. And even a mid forward is actually quite good as well. If there's a ruck that's available, a mid forward, anything with a bit of DPP, I guess, is also acceptable. I think having Todd Marshall as a defender forward has helped a bit this year. Excuse me. Yeah, you got a bit of a tricky one there, Corsa, Troy. So, yeah, if you only have 4 on round 12 bye, you're just waiting for AFLW fantasy. 131 for captaincy scores. I have Butters and Petrarca as captains. Round 1 and 2 would have made a bit of difference if you had started Kalani White. Yeah, I think I knew this from last year that captains were going to be, because I had Gorn last year as my captain, and he pretty much came out smacked 150 every week, and that kept me right up in the ranking. It is important to have a loophole option for overall ranking, I think. You're starting the season with it is fine. And we look now, say you look at my team. Well, I went, I'm going to get Cooper Duff Tyler in because he might make me some money, which paid off for the people who did it the year before with the Eagles guy. But if I just had Kalani White, well, I've got Kalani White anyway now. Not only would I have saved a trade, but I could have had him the whole season. Just be careful when you pick your loopholes that you pick the ones that played mostly Sunday games. And I think we went through and studied at the beginning of the season that the Eagles and Melbourne, and I think St Kilda played the most Sunday games. So Kalani White was pretty much perfect this year to pick as a loophole. And yeah, if we all get our time back again, we would definitely do that, right, Michael? Only if Murdoch played that third game early on. Yeah, it would make a difference. Don't get too worried about this 38 to either crew. As a supporter, I don't think Murdoch goes to Dacos. Now, I've been wrong plenty of times before, but Murdoch tagged Whitfield. Whitfield is a defender. Murdoch plays more of that high forward who moves into the midfield. That's why he tagged Whitfield, I think. And they determined that Whitfield is very dangerous. If they look at Collingwood, if Murdoch's going to go to someone, it's probably going to be Josh Dacos or, probably not Houston, but it's going to be one of those more high defender types. So, if Murdoch's going to tag anyone, it's probably Josh Dacos, not Nick Dacos. If someone goes to Nick Dacos, it's going to be Hoff. So I think there's a good chance that Murdoch doesn't tag. It just depends on how much the Eagles, they think, how dangerous do they think someone like a Josh Dacos is for Collingwood. If they feel that he's really dangerous and he makes a big difference to their game, they might send a Murdoch to him. But I think Murdoch can still get you an easy 70 or 80 on a good game. And with the DPP coming in, he could be very handy over the next few weeks. He's got a good buy. As coverage goes, I think he could be very, very handy. So I wouldn't be selling out Murdoch this week unless he's getting you a Bailey Smith or someone, or or a Grundy, or someone really good. I think this 38, not only was it a low score, but don't forget he gave away like a 250-meter penalties or whatever, which is probably 20 points as well. So if this is a score of 58, we wouldn't be happy, but we probably wouldn't even have a discussion. So I wouldn't be too worried about Murdoch crew. If they use him to tag again this week and they run another double tag, then it's the time to maybe start thinking about, you don't want to lose money. But I don't think at a break even of 55, he's going to lose you too much. And I think he could easily reset his cash gen pretty quickly. Roses to Bolton. Yeah, I'm still scared of the Bolton pick. He did show his colours. He did show the Bolton colours last week with a bit of a shit score, but he has been very good. I don't think, the thing with Bolton is he's too expensive for me. Like, yes, he's smacked some big scores. Plus, he's got that 142 break even. And without Caleb Sarong, maybe he plays a little bit more midfield. But as you can see, he can score 130s and 140s, which are awesome, but he can also get you 60s and 70s. So a 520, I'm not doing that. I'd prefer to get Tuke Miller at 450. Like, I think hopefully I've learnt my lesson. You do not need to pay 500 plus for a forward unless their name is Sheasel or even Petrarca. Both Sheasel could be down. How cheap will Sheasel be? Not that we don't all have him, but even the Shees could be 500k. I think this is another good lesson for next year. So I project to score 110.5. So he could get down as low as 520. You pick one or two if there are really gun forwards. If we have any, I don't know who will be there. If you guys can make any suggestions that you think will actually be forwards next year who were going to be worth picking, who are basically midfielders this year, like Petrarca and Sheasel, because Petrarca, Sheasel, and Pickett will not be forwards next year. They will all be pure midfielders. So the pickings for forward line might be a little bit slim next year, and I'm certainly not paying up for any of them. They better be the similar, for some miracle Bont or Dacos or whatever becomes a forward, and then I'm picking them. But otherwise, 450, maybe one 500 guy or one 550 guy or two 500 or 550 guys, and then all the rest of the guys are cheaper ships. 350 meter penalties and also 100 meter penalty in one play, almost 150 meter penalty. Yeah, I must have already zoned out by that time. I must have zoned out by that time because even though I watched the game, I don't remember seeing that. I think maybe I went to get a coffee or something. But yeah, so, I mean, give him, that's 30 points right there. So that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. Karen Bolton can also play a full game and score single figure. He's only on never. Yeah, he's on my never again list too, Karen. But he has come out and smacked those 150s. So if he was 420k, maybe he could like talk himself back onto my, sometimes list. But at 520k, he's on the never. Still on the never again list. He's still out there. Landsy, how you going, mate? Rank 11,000, very nice, buddy, very good. Very good round score last round too. Roberts, Whitfield, Sinclair, Houston, Clark, Lindsay, Oliver and Dirksen, very nice. Butters, Bont, Merritt, Dacos, Callahan, Murdoch, Rashenho, Cumming. Sarong, Anderson, what are you doing with Sarong, buddy? Are you keeping, you trading, you thinking about it? Obviously, you're keeping for the moment because it looks like you've already made your trades if you got Dirksen in there. Grundy, Gorn, very nice. Petrarca, Sheasel, Pickett, Rank. Unfortunate about Rank, buddy. Flanders, Philippou, and Lombard. Scary's playing, which is nice. Marshall's playing. A bit disappointing with Anderson not playing. Like, really could have done. If he got to 250k, he would have been an easy, sell off to Ison next week. But at 220k, and I think he's got to break even at like 5, it's going to make it a bit tricky when it comes to buying rookies next week. Very nice team, Landsy. Very nice. Dirksen and Roberts in, Jakes and Cook out. I think you were saying, yeah, can you get... Did you already bring in Oliver last week? You must have brought in Oliver last week, right? If you've got him there. Hope he plays for you, buddy. The only thing is, yeah, that you can't get around it. But Jake's playing. Jake's playing is a bit of a bugger. wouldn't mind just leaving him, seeing if he can get a decent score and kick his cash gem back into gear if you had him. But I guess if it gets you Roberts, then can't complain, mate. Can't complain if it gets you Roberts. Very nice. Boost Sarong out. Yeah. So let's go back to your team. Boost Sarong out. Yeah, it's a shame that you didn't. I tell you, if you didn't have the Sarong issue, I would be tempted to try and get you to talk to the devil on whichever shoulder the devil sits on Seano's shoulder, like the angel who says to Sean, "Don't do dumb shit," and then the devil that says, "Get rid of Houston or Clark." I probably dislike Houston more than Clark, to be honest. I know Clark's been shit and not scored probably more than 100 for almost the whole year, where Houston's at least got a couple of 130s. But when Collingwood's whole team's back, Houston just doesn't seem to, get the ball. But you can't really do that, otherwise you'd be doing too many Dirksen and Roberts. You want Dirksen, I think, just in case he plays more than one round. So Jakes to Dirksen, okay. Sarong out as well. Don't know how much money you've got left in the bank that leaves you, mate, but you could pick up at this price, you probably still got some selections out there. You could take the risk on Hugh McCluggage if you're willing to risk it. If you could find a little bit of money, go up to like a Noah Anderson or something like that, even though he's coming into his bye. Maybe if you got a little bit more money, depending on how much, little bit more, you could jump to somebody else with a decent buy, like a, Clayton Oliver or a Lachie Neale. All depends on how long Sarong's going to be out for, right? Sarong, it's typical Sarong, typical bloody Freo. He just starts to turn it around and then he gets injured. Just starts to turn it around and then he gets injured. You went early on Oliver. I hope he plays for you this week, mate. Mass Petrarca 552, break even 150 in the buy next week. Glad you held off. Yep. So just like we talked about Mass, they all come down. I still don't mind, even though I had him before he scored the 170 and everybody got him. I even made a video telling everyone how good he was, and people still didn't get him until they saw the 170 or whatever. So that was annoying. And then he got injured and I traded him out and I traded him back in. I still don't mind paying up for him. Like the ones like Petrarca and Sheasel, I don't mind paying up. They're the best. You want them in the team. And this is the mistake I made in the back line, where I went a bit cheap and dodgy. Instead of getting the best, instead of getting Whitfield, instead of getting Roberts when I had the chance, I went and bought Jordan Clark, didn't I? When it was time for me to get Whitfield or Roberts, I bought Jordan Clark. At the beginning of the season, even though Dacos did kind of fool us. Like if we look at I didn't probably do my research enough. They didn't have their full back line in for the beginning of the Collingwood season, and Dacos went 134, 94, and 117. And I was like, woohoo, this is going to be a guaranteed, 90 plus to a decent score all year. And he hasn't scored more than 102 since then. His highest score since then is 102. So going the best and paying up for the best at the beginning is not terrible. Now, yes, congratulations, you've held off and you're going to get him nice and cheap. The same as the people who held off from Dacos and going to get Dacos nice and cheap. But I don't regret starting them at the beginning of the season. I regret starting the mediocre players and not paying up for them. Next year, I'm going to start the better players and I'll have an extra rookie. The definite guns and rookies. Pay up for the best players, get the rookies, and then leave a little bit of money in the bank for the best mid prices. And I'll probably buy the number one. If there's a 200k number one draft pick and he's like playing for Richmond, I'm buying him. I don't give a crap. Unless he's like a ruck, unless he's that ruck guy who's not going to get a game or whatever, if he's a midfielder and he's the number one, ruck pick, and he goes to a Richmond or a, Essendon or a Carlton or even an Eagles, I'm just going to buy him. Just buy him, and then I'll jump off him if it doesn't work. Because the last 2 years, the 200K players have been brilliant. Murdoch ran through the mark the second time. Amp was telling him to get out, and he just did it. He ran through the mark the second time, Murdoch, and then the umpire was telling him to get out, and he just did it in time. Would that mean it would have been four 50-metre penalties? Oh, Lance, you actually know Hallie Oliver used to play footy with him, so you felt obliged to get him? Well, that's nice. That's still nice. I mean, you've got a good ranking. It's like I said, you're probably not going to finish in the top 1,000, but you could finish in the top 5 or a couple of thousand for sure from this side. You're not going to win from here, but you can definitely, few good bit of a good run, you can definitely drag it back down. But yeah, nice that you picked him, mate. That's nice. Isn't that nice? Jonas the GOAT. Trades were Cook and Murdoch for Bailey, Sniff, and Dirksen. Cook and Murdoch for Sniff and Dirksen. Whitfield, Sinclair, Blakey, Ash, Clark, Selwood, very nice. Perez and Dirksen, good. Butters, Heaney, Smith, Bont, Dacos, Walsh, Steele, Anderson. Now, look, that's a stacked defender. I like your team, mate. Where are you? Rank 419. That's why I like your team. You pretty much completed your defense. Very nice. How much money do you have in the bank, Shorty? I suppose, Shorty, we were talking to you before. When you get to my team, I'll be trading Selwood to Wilkie next week. Yeah, I was going to say, so your backline's complete. So Dirksen and Perez on bench does not bother me. Yep, so you'll have a complete backline. You'll only be one away from a complete midfield. You got a full ruck line, and you've got Grundy, and you've got playing forwards. Then all you're going to need to do is snap up another midfielder and 2 forwards, and your team's complete. You could make a run for top 100, Shorty. Mass, you could easily finish in the top 100 with this team. You've got all the makings, of a really good team. I'm thinking Wilkie next week too, if he has another good week this week. I think at the price, it's too hard to ignore, and he could even go down in price. I am worried about that. Did anyone else see that? Were you watching the centre bounce and saw the tweet about the Wilkie's got 2 vertebrae or something, a problem with a couple of his vertebrae? He still scored 100 though anyway last week, so not too bad. Once again, crew, I think it's at the time when I should beg for likes. If you haven't already liked, please go ahead and like. We got 18 people watching and only 13 likes. Just do it. Just do it, Nike style. Go and like now. Make me stay on for a little bit longer. What time is it? Oh, we got time. So, yep, Jonas, Mass, Shorty, whatever you like to be called. I like your team. You've done how you're supposed to play Supercoach. Seano played Supercoach the opposite way you're supposed to play Supercoach this year, and it did not pay off. So the way you're supposed to play, you're supposed to fill up your defenders and your midfielders with players who can score big and your ruck line, and then you worry about the forward line last, which is exactly what you've done, and you're in a good position for it. So well done. It's bedtime. You're in bed again, Karen. Good night if you fall asleep, Karen. Yes, I assume it will be pretty late. It's only like 10 o'clock for me, but I guess it's probably midnight for most of you crew out there in the eastern states. Yep, like your team a lot, mate. I don't know how many trades you got, Mass, but you're going to be in a position to be doing a luxury trade soon. So next week, you want Wilkie. So are you going to, I assume you're going to go Ison for either Rashenko, Anderson, or Sardis. Make yourself, 120, 100 to 150K there. I don't know. If I got rid of Sardis a couple of weeks ago, if he hasn't come back by now, is he coming back? I mean, the only way he comes back is if Brad Scott gets fired, right? That's the only time Asada seems to come back. He's killing it in the VFL, destroying it. When he played for their team, he looked good, and he still can't get a game. So, I don't know. The other question for me is, do I keep Sharp? Does Sharp's due back in round 16? Does Sharp go straight back into the team? He looked okay in this game before he got injured. So, any Essendon, I guess, even if you're an Essendon supporter, I don't think you could predict what the hell Brad Scott's up to. AFL Gaming, VC Roberts and C Grundy, or VC Grundy and C Gawn? No, I don't like the Gawn. I think it's okay, but it's not like Max Heath's not playing. Max Heath is still playing. So I would 100% VC Roberts into Grundy. 100%. I mean, why do people think Gawn's all of a sudden going to go not Kalani, why? Why do people also all of a sudden think Gawn's going to go huge? I mean, he's done good he's got the Western Bulldogs with no ruck, but you still got to play in the ruck. Last week, Max Gawn 71, Max Heath 29. It's actually because of the injury, but he's playing this week, right? His name? He got injured, and that's why it was down last week. If you told me he wasn't in the team, all right, so he's on the extended bench. If Max Heath doesn't play, well, 100% go Grundy into Gawn. But I think they're both really good picks. I think either way, you can't go wrong. But if Max Heath is named, go vice captain Archie Roberts every day of the week. If Max Heath isn't named, do Grundy into Gawn. Then it's fine. That's my opinion anyway, AFL Gaming. That's what I'd be doing if I had your team. That's what I will be doing with my team. Like at the moment, I'm going Grundy into Butters. We've just got it on Kalani White because I just expect that I'll be taking Grundy's score. But I obviously, because White and Gawn play the same, I can switch it to Gawn if need be. But if Max Heath plays, I'll be going into Butters, not into Gawn. If for some reason Grundy doesn't have a great game, which, because I got him in, is kind of expected. Lansy, I don't know what you think, but I can tell you what I think. I should boost out Sarong for Zach Bailey. We'll only have about 490 to play with, so not many options like the mid. Yeah. If he's the one that fits your buy structure, I mean, he's had a couple bad rounds and he's got I assume a massive break-even of 165. Yeah, I'd maybe just hold Sarong for this week and see what happens next week. You're going to have 3 trades next week. I don't know if you got any boosts, Lancey, but if you do, get rid of him next week, maybe. Maybe just do those trades you were going to do this week and then have a think about it. See what they come out and say. They said it's, 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe they, you hear something more about it or something. Zach Bailey comes down. You can still get him next week. You can still get him next week. Maybe by doing a downgrade next week, your team's here, isn't it? So, so next week you'll make some money by going down from one of these 4 rookies. You'll be going down to Ison. And so you'll make yourself, if it's any of Rashenko coming or Anderson, you're going to make yourself 100K, and then you'll have 500 and, then you'll have 590K, and you can get whoever you want. You can get yourself another good midfielder. Instead of getting, you've already got, your forward line looks fine, buddy. You don't need Zach Bailey, and the fact that Zach Bailey's going to go down 30K, I think it's fine to wait. Do that trade next week. You're going to have 3 trades. Go 2 down and 1 up, and get the midfielder that you really want. What midfielder do you really want? Do you really want an Isaac Heaney? Do you want a Sherry after his bye? Maybe you bank that money and Sarong becomes Sherry after his bye. Yeah, but I think it's fine to hold him because you can't get anyone you really want. I mean, if you wanted to take a risk on a midfielder. So, I mean, and the fact that I've got him, I wouldn't advise getting like a Hugh McCluggage or something like that. But if there was a midfielder that you liked and you could get for that much money, then for 490, I don't think, because I had a quick look, I don't think there's any 490 guys out there. I mean, I probably prefer you went the Justin McInerney, just if you were going to go there. They're probably both the same, but McInerney's going up in money and Bailey's going down is the only thing. But 490, who could you get for 490? 495, let's put summary out of everybody. So 490, you can afford Luke Parker, Callum Wilkie, Tracy Jack Steele, Justin McInerney, Finn Callahan, Tuke Miller. I don't mind Tuke Miller, but he's got his bye coming up. No Josh Jacobs. Tom Stewart. Another one. Is anyone thinking about Tom Stewart at 430k with a break even of 50? Or are we all scared of the old man, his body, or Henry getting taken out of the team? I mean, the price is right. Do we trust it? I'm not seeing anybody else there that I really love. That what I would be someone we did have talk of Tom Sparrow. If you wanted to be a little bit different. There was a bit of talk about Riley Sanders, but I don't know in the Bulldogs. Sparrow's gone 128, 105, 97, and 99. At 468, he's cheaper. Does have that round 16 buy though, if that's bad for you. But same with Riley Sanders, bit of talk about him. I mean, right, this is because this. I haven't really looked at this, but this is sneakily good. Look, from round 4, he's gone 122, 95, 92, 106, 85, 125, and 106. That's pretty much flying under the radar, Mr. Riley Sanders. I know I've got you in one of my draft teams, and you've been quite good for me, but kind of sneakily under the radar is another round 16 guy, though. A lot of people have a lot of round 16 guys. So I think, Landsy, I don't think I'd be getting Zach Bailey at 490. Just, it's okay to hold. You've got a pretty good ranking anyway. Like we said, you're not going to be winning. So, but holding him off the ground this round is not going to hurt. You're not going to drop millions of spots just by not having Caleb Sarong on the field. Yeah, I think you will be okay. You might get 50 less points or something or whatever by having a Cumming or, as opposed to, we saw Zach Bailey can get you 75. So if you got Cumming and he gets you a 40 and Zach Bailey comes out and gets you a 75, you've paid a fortune for 35 points, which is not going to do a massive amount to your ranking. So my advice, if you wish to take it, please take my advice with a grain of salt, because it's been wrong a lot this year. Not from not trying and not research, it's just been wrong. It just happened to be wrong a lot. But I'd hold Sarong to next week, and I would wait. I'd play the wait and see game. See how long he's going to be out for. See who make the next trade next week. And once you make the next trade next week, you can get pretty much whoever you want. You'll have close to 600k to get, whoever you want. And you could possibly go 2 down, 1 up. If you get 2 rookies next week, you sold Cumming and Anderson or Rashenko for, like, say, the Bamfield, and you could get a Bailey Smith. Like we talked about, you could pick up Sherry after his bye maybe. So I think I'd hold. I think I would hold. Not because I don't think he'd be out, but just because I think this week is you don't have a great option this week unless you fancy one of those, the Tom Sparrow or the, you've got how many? You've got quite a few in that round, that last buy. Not too bad, but a few. So, yep. I mean, I'm looking at your team and I'm thinking Sherry after the buy. Use Sarong to either wait and see what's going to happen with his buy, or use Sarong's money to get to Sherry after the buy, or a Bailey Smith. Then you've got one of the two big guns that you're going to want in your team. That's just me. Things I've done have been wrong, though, so don't have to listen to me. You're set, Karen, listening to your footy thoughts. You have the TV on with cycling from comfort of your toasty bed. I should turn my... That's too warm here to turn the hot blanket on. The electric blanket, that's the words I'm looking for. AFL game, Malera 140, Dawson 110. Great start to the week. Yeah, it's always nice, isn't it? Like those people that had the two big Sydney scores last week with the Grundy and the McInerney. Those two was really good. Karen says you got Zach Bailey. He's gone quiet. He'll come back. He's just one of those players. He needs to get the goals. He needs to get the goals, and he'll come back. He'll have 120, 130 game, but then he'll have a 70 game as well. All these forwards have done it. Pretty much the only two that haven't really done it. I was going to say Sheaves on Petrarca, but Sheaves just gave us a 73 last week. Very un-Sheaves-like. But yeah, and that's the thing I think we need to learn for next year. Forwards are inconsistent. Unless there are actual midfielders. If they're forwards that play a bit of midfielders, the Rochellis of the world, or Rankin was like that until the last couple of weeks, they need to be full-time midfielders. And then if they're full-time goal-kicking midfielders, the Petrarcas, the Pickett's, and even, I guess, the Sheasels of the world, they can score really big, and they're the ones that you want. But, yeah, all the ones like Zach Bailey. We did a big deep dive in forwards a few weeks back. McInerney, Bailey, Rochelli, Connor McDonald, they all depend on either CBAs or kicking goals. So 1 week can be 60 and 1 week can be 130. So that's why you get them cheap. And in theory, even though it hasn't worked out this year, in theory, you're supposed to spend up for the midfielders. You're supposed to spend $450 on forwards, and you're supposed to spend $550 on a midfielder that gets you 100 to 130 every week. Except our midfielders aren't doing their job this year. They are not doing their job. I'm looking at you, midfielders. Callahan, even you a little bit, Dacos, but I can't be too angry with you. And this team on merit has been a good pick. So, but a lot of midfielders this week have just been not great for what we expect from midfielders. Nemo ranked 3,865. Very nice. Dropped 2,500 spots. That's rough. Not having Grundy. So traded in Grundy and Dirksen, just like I did. For Selwood and Perez, that's awesome. With cash in the bank, Richards really costing you this season. Yeah, like we looked at Richards. The CBAs are there, buddy. So, I would hope he could turn it around. Might even target Richards. If he's not, we discussed that he might be playing injured. So he could be one for the pickup after his buy or something if he, if he gets a bit of a rest or feels okay. But let's see. So you dropped 2,500 spots. Wow, that's really rough. And yeah, I dropped 10,000 spots, but I'm a lot further down than you are in 1 week. Roberts, Whitfield, Sinclair, Dacos, Worrell, and Lindsay. Worrell, a nice score out of Worrell. You haven't got one of those for a while, so well done, mate. I'm glad that nice little start for your team. Yeah, Worrell's been a bit on the quiet side as well, so good to see him pump out a big score. Buttersbont, Neil, Oliver. Like Neil and Oliver, these are two really good picks as well. They're ones that have been pretty consistent this year as opposed to the midfielders that I picked. But yeah, if only they could go back to the beginning of the season, I think we'd all be picking Neil and Oliver. Pretty much our teams would look like Bont, Butters, like Neil, Oliver, LDU, maybe Jack Steele. If we could all go back to the beginning of the season. So I still like your midfield a lot. You got Richards there. I think he'll come good. I don't think you should trade him. I think he'll come good. Murdoch, Rashenko. Sardis, I hope he comes back, mate. I couldn't wait any longer. Anderson and Burton. Obviously, you got in Dirksen this week. You say you got in Dirksen and Perez, but you get Grundy. You got two rooks that, yeah. Who'd you get out for Dirks? Selwood and Perez. Oh, yeah, only Selwood. Beautiful. You're getting Grundy for Selwood. That's a bargain. So to me, your back line looks complete. Your midfield, you only need two. You just need two spots in your midfield. And your forward line, I mean, in theory, you need one. You might want to upgrade Murphy Reed at some point. So really, you've only got three, potentially four if you want to get Lindsay. Like I've got 6 players that I would like to, what I count as rookies that I want to get off my field. You've got 4, but I think Lindsay is one that you can leave there for a while, just till he's finished his buy, and then you can have a look at him. And if you've got luxury trades and there's someone killing it, then you can go there. But your team looks like it's in a really good spot. I think you're just unlucky, mate. I mean, we knew the Grundy big score was coming. We didn't know it was going to be 400. And a lot of it, the rest of our team's doing so crap. And people who had Grundy just jumped, It's the same as having 3 players. Having one player scored the same as 3 other players scored in some teams. So, it was unpredictable, but I think it shows that next year, I think we might have to start the 3 ruck. I don't like it. I don't know if I will. Every year I say I won't, and I haven't yet, but you might have to start the 3 rucks next year and just go, listen, this could get me a big edge up on the community. You could get people are picking Bont or whatever, but if you got a choice out of this year, if you had a choice out of, Bont or Grundy or, Bont or Sherry, or even maybe not so much Bont, but pick the next level. Say the next level down. Do you want Neil, Oliver, or Dacos, or would you prefer Sherry, Bont, or even Jackson? You're taking Sherry, Bont, or Jackson every day of the week. So they cannot be tagged. They cannot be tagged. Lansy, think you'll hold for now and then reassess next week. Want to try and get Holmes in too. Yep. So then you should have enough money to get Holmes in next week, Lansy, if you do the trades next week. Holmes, Sherry, Heaney, Smith of the Bailey variety. Finished team, but not sure if you're going to be able to get them all. Yeah, I mean, the names look good, mate. I would love those names. I'm looking at my team. I'm looking at my team and thinking that there's no way that's going to happen. I would love to see Bailey, Smith, and Heaney here. I would love to see Whitfield and a Roberts or a Blakey or somebody here. My ruck is sorted now with Jackson on the bear there, and maybe a replacement for Philippou. I think the Poo might be okay until Nas comes back. I think, and by that time, what's his break even? Break even 61. So if he could get another couple of 70s or 80s, get himself to close to 400. What's has he got he's got a shit score last week, right? So he does have a 58 and he's got 82. If he could just go, let's give him 75. If he could just go 75 for the next 2 weeks, playing in that midfield, he gets to 350. Where's his buy? His buy's in round 16. Let's give him 75s all the way through. But I think 75s, if Nas comes back, might be wishful thinking. Gets him to 360k. So really that's not too much. So he could be primed for selling in about around 12 at 350, and then you'll just need 100k. 100k will get you a Tuke Miller or a Zach Bailey or a Justin McInerney or something like that. So, but I think he would be the least of my worries, especially because he's got DPP and Murdoch will get DPP. I'd be trying to get Rashenko off the field. And this is me, obviously. Yeah, I want to get this spot filled, and I want to get next week potentially Wilkie instead of Selwood, and then just have one here as well. So I might not be able to have, the Whitfields and the Roberts. This might have to be Wilkie and then somebody, and Lindsay might just have to live in there. And hopefully, in a perfect little world, we've got the mid-season draft. We get a couple of 99k players. We get ourselves a Tom McCarthy of 2026. I don't know about you, crew, but I didn't have a full team last year. My flex was Tom McCarthy. Friend, he came in the mid-season at 99k, and I put him there, and he lived there for the rest of the season. So that, I think we'd be very lucky if that happened again, if we got a player of that caliber who's going to score as well as he did. But maybe we do. Maybe we do. No, it's a trap. That's another name we could have for our team, Karen.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
I'm not too sure which trap we're talking about. Zach Bailey is a trap, probably. David Hicks, this is your team. Sardis, Steen, and Anderson gone next week for Holmes is the plan. That sounds like a very good plan to me. As plans go, that sounds awesome. And I assume that's a combination of rookies like Ison, Banfield, or the other one, and then maybe a Murdoch or somebody up. So after I make my trades, I got 191k in the bank. Should we do the
No!
get the spreadsheet out? How much do we got? 191,400. Get the spreadsheet out, Seano. Haven't used the spreadsheet, so let's clear it for a bit. 191,400 we're starting with. And player out. So who are we going to get out? We're going to take out... Who do we take out next week? This is a big issue for me, crew. Do we wait on... Obviously, we're getting in Jack Ison, who's 113,500. In is Ison, 113,500. Who are we getting out? We'll give him a capital letter for his first name. He's a kid, but we'll do it. Who we getting out though? Anderson's not going to make any more money, but they're going to rest Pendles again through the year. He'll probably come back for that. If they have any injuries to anybody in the midfield, he'll probably come back from that. He's been okay. So I got a feeling he'll play again, and he's only got to break even at 5. Burton, he's made 50k. He's got to break even at 33, and he's been scoring 30s. But what happens if he gets a 60 or a 70? It kicks his cash gen into, if he can get a 70, it'll kick his cash gen in the backside. So maybe a Rashenko, break even 25. If he comes out and gets another 60, what type of break even are we looking at, crew? Say they're saying a 67, his break even goes to 41, and he'll be at 274. Now, if he was to get like a 75, you probably want to keep him. Then that's a bit too much of a jump. If you could get a 75, he'd be at 260. So I don't know if I want to get rid of Rashenko. And Murdoch, I think Murdoch is going to be in a forward. So for me, I could even get rid of Duff Tyler. He's been rested. He's just not looked like he's going to score a decent score. He's got to break even at 33. Who do I dislike? I mean, I make more money by getting rid of Duff Tyler. Edwards is going to play this week, which is nice. He's got a break even of 37. So maybe it's Edwards because he's not going to make very much more money, especially if Brad Scott doesn't play him in the forward line. So holding Lindsay, David says holding Lindsay. I think Lindsay is the rookie that you can hold, potentially even going to be D6. Like I say, I wouldn't be surprised if he smacks out 100. He's been getting 90s. If he drops 100, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if he outscored Clark last week, so he can do it again. And he outscored Dacos, and he outscored Houston, who I had last week. So he's outscoring 3 guys that I paid 200 or 300,000 more than him for. So at the moment, Lindsay is the least of my worries. He'll be there, and Murdoch is kind of the same. But if Murdoch gets me someone I really want, that's a different story. So I really don't know what to do next week. Let's just say I give up on Burton. Philly plays forward. I think that's good, Corey, because I looked at Edwards in the VFL. He kicks a goal to 2 to 3 goals every week. So I think Edwards can get a 60 or a 70 if played in the right position. If Brad Scott plays him on the bloody wing like he did in the Anzac Day match, well, then he's probably going to get a 30. Who plays key forwards on a wing? Anyway, if he plays in a forward line and he kicks a couple of goals, no guarantee he kicks a couple of goals. But if he does, then his score goes up. So I don't know if I'm going to want to sell him. That's going to be my problem next week. I'm going to want 2 rookies, but I'm not going to know who to sell. And Marshall, what's Marshall's a break even of 32 as well. So if he craps the bed and plays forward, maybe he's the one that goes. Not that but there's only midfield and forward rookies. There's no back rookies. So that's a problem as well. The only thing is if I sell, so do I sell Duff Tyler? Do I sell Sharp and just give up on, his money? Take the money and run for Sharp? Do I believe that Anderson's not going to come back, give up on his money when I do think he's going to come back? Or maybe Burton, if he comes out and gets 30 again, we just go, listen, Burton's not going to be that great. And every time I've done that this season, they've come out and got a spike score eventually. So, but I'm going to have to do someone. I'm going to have to do ice onto someone. So, I don't know. I might even just have to do it on the field. Like, if Rashenko gets this 50 or whatever, maybe I go down from him. Let's say we do that. So, let's say he goes up to, they're predicting a 67 from him. That'll make him 263. We're just going to Rashenko. That's spelled incorrectly, but what do we say? 253? Is that what we said? Spelt his name wrong and got the price wrong. RETCHK. Still won't be able to remember that. 263. RETS. Still wrong, but that will do. 263. 263. Oh, actually, I can't see a chat, so I'm going to do it like this. So that gives me 340,900. So 349. Maybe we can put that in a calculator. Nope. 304,900. Like that. Memory plus. Okay. So now we know how much money we've got. So I can put that on the top of Murdoch, get a Bailey Smith if I want to. But no, what I want to do is get rid of Selwood next week. Definitely want to get rid of Selwood. Do I just go up to Wilkie, which would be cheap, or even still a Zorko? How much will Wilkie be? He's got a big break even at 145. Let's give him a 105. Don't forget to like, crew, too, if you haven't already liked. Haven't begged for likes for a little bit. Only 14 likes. Come on, crew. Come on, crew. Still love yous all anyway. So he would be 446. He'd be 446 next week. So I'd have to get, what's that, 300, 400, about 140. It leaves me with 150 for the week after. And then if I do 2 trades, say I went down and got another 80k from Duff Tyler to a Banfield. Let's say we add that on, add 80k. I'd have 380k. So that means I'd be able to spend 140k next week, and I would still have 140k for the week after. No, more. 200. I would still have 240k for the week after, which means I could potentially go Murdoch to a 500k player. So I've got some decisions there, crew. Probably don't want to bore you too many with all my thinking. This is what I spend days doing and thinking about. Maybe we'll call it there for the night, crew. It's getting late for all you guys over the eastern states. And I appreciate everyone being here. I don't want to bore the crap out of you guys too much. But that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm thinking and with my nerd spreadsheets and stuff. Not that they've done me much good this year. But yes, Sean's gone a bit crazy. If you're just joining in now, we're selling the farm. We're selling Houston, not a very good farm. And we're selling Bruin, going against all the Supercoach laws that say 2 decent players are supposed to score better than 1 good player, which is just not happening this year. So my 1 good player, Grundy, is probably going to outscore both these buggers in his without even including him as a captain. So that's what I'm doing just because I want to win my league matches. Anyway, I think we'll call it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. If you are watching in the future and you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and like the video. It really helps me. If you're still watching now, now's the time to like before you fall asleep or head off. And yeah, leave me a comment down below if you're watching in the future and let me know what you're doing this week. Who are your trades? Am I a crazy man for doing Dirks and the Grundy? Are you getting your crazy on as well, or is it just me? And yep, points chasing. Yeah, let's do it. Don't Supercoach advice, don't points chase. But Seano is going to points chase. So we're going to do it and see what happens. Good night, Karen. I hope you sleep well, and I hope we all have a good week of footy. Go the Eagles. As usual, I like to say goodbye to everyone in chat, so we're going to do that now. So good night, Karen. See you, Corey. See you, David Hicks. See you, Lancy. See you, AFL Gaming 1539. See you, Mass. See you, STB ing a Supercoach. STBing a Supercoach. Stabinging. The Bing. I like to call you Bing, maybe. Michael Rubenstein. Good to see you, my friend. BP McHale's, thank you for putting in your team. Thank you for everyone to put in their team tonight. Thank you very much. Young Money 47, good to see you, mate. Who else? Michael, West Coast Eagles, good luck to us this week, mate. And is that it? Can I not go back further? Maybe I can go back further up here. Did I? Jay Wilson, thanks for being here, buddy. David Hicks, did I say you? Always love these ones, guys, though I have the live chats. So really appreciate everyone's joined. And I really appreciate everyone who's still hanging out with me, even though I've got my terrible score and having a terrible season. I wouldn't be doing it without your support. So hopefully I'll see you all again very soon.